All right. Well, glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Welcome to Jamie's Explanation Corner.
Welcome. Oh, you have an explanation?
Yeah, I do. I just want to publicly say that if you are a consistent listener and you have heard any of the times that I did not edit the podcast when I
Oh
said
my
I was going to
God.
edit the podcast,
Oh my God.
I just want to say I am very sorry. It is a reminder that you are working with and listening to and engaging with real humans. We don't have anybody else working for us. It is me and Laura. And when you put me in charge of things that require precision and paying attention to things, sometimes that's what you get. So it was funny because when you alerted, I've been better about it. I really have. But when you alerted,
I don't know whether to trust you because I haven't been listening to them to know.
So it drives Laura crazy because she's very much like, I've learned that if it happens, oh well, I'm really sorry, but it's just what it is. But Laura's a little bit like, I don't like, that's awful. So anyway, it's driving her nuts. I do have I'll tell you what I think is going to be my solution that I'm going to start doing this week. But I was going to say something and I don't remember what it was. So I'll just go right to
have we switched roles?
No. What would you say? Switch roles? I don't think I'll be good with show notes. We could do that.
No. I mean, never mind. Because I'm the one who usually forgets what I'm about to say, not you.
Well, I was going to say that it was funny because when you alerted me to the last episode and it was the supplement ranking where that was in there, I immediately went and fixed it. So what I did was I just fixed it and then I just replaced the file. So I never had to delete it. I just replaced the file. Yeah.
Okay,
you just have to fix it quick enough. So if it's going to be a long fix or something you have to redo or re-record, you can just like delete it and then but I was able to just do it quick and then replace the file. But I noticed that it's already one of our most listened to episodes. So I felt really bad. I was like, I should maybe say something. Anyway, just wanted to.
Yeah, I haven't been listening to them for months, and I normally listen to them, which I don't like to, honestly, because I don't like hearing myself speak because it makes me a little cringe. It's just, I don't know. Why do you sound like that? What's wrong with you? Anyway, so I haven't been, but I like to check. Like I'm a very I like to check my work a lot of times and see because if I don't listen to it, then I don't know what we mess up on. I don't know. It gives you a little, what's the word? Quality check, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the one I chose to listen to. And of course that was in there. I'm like, well, this just, if this is in this one, is it in other ones? I don't know.
I've totally kind of rearranged my work week. So what I normally do is once we record, I kind of go into, I don't know if you know this about me, but actually talking for an hour is quite draining. So I actually check out a little bit immediately after. Yeah, you look surprised. True story.
That's not an extrovert type of thing.
No, I've moved a little bit more center for sure. I can get really animated, but I definitely need a little bit of zone out. I need to walk away and I need to not talk to people for a little while.
So I exhaust you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's you.
I exhaust you because you don't exhaust me. I don't feel exhausted after the podcast.
Okay, way to turn that around.
And
do you really not?
No, I really don't, because
when I do the podcast or when I do a live or when I do, and the more I don't want to say the more important it is, the more it happens, but the more I guess anticipation, obviously that makes sense that I build up. So if it's a once monthly workshop or something that drains me more. The podcast we do every week and it's more casual. So it's less. Yeah. Just talking with you is way less because there's no anticipation there. But yeah, the more anticipation there is building up to it, the more it is. But I do need a little bit of I need to walk away from my computer and go do something else.
Yeah, no, I only get tired if I feel like I said before to you, it feels like a performance. So I feel like I have to act a certain way. And on the podcast, I don't really feel that way. We kind of just talk and there's no prep before, like you said, no. Yeah. So a live would 100%, I would need a nap. When I would do those before, I needed a nap.
Yeah. A nap for the day. But what my solution is I rearrange it. So what we normally do is we record on Tuesday or Wednesday and then to post the following week. So usually the following week on Monday or Tuesday is when I'll do the edit and the post. But I have decided that I'm going to do all podcast tasks in one day, meaning that we're going to record this today. I'm also going to edit it and post it today. and I'm doing it all in one day because that, like, my memory's fresh. When I make these notes of when the things are, I know you do the show notes now. You used to do them, and that, like, that's definitely, yeah. So I think that that's gonna, like, fix it right because it's everything's fresh, and I can,
Oh, 100%.
even if I didn't write it down, I can go, I'm like, oh, well, I forgot to write that down, but I know that it was around this time. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's a good idea. That's what I do with the show notes too, because if I go back and do it a week later, I'm like, what the hell did we talk about?
Yeah.
I don't remember. And I have
Sometimes
to listen
I
to the
even
whole
look at
thing.
the recordings and I'm like, which one of these was from last week and which one of these was from, it's, I don't know why I didn't do this before. It's just like, as soon as we get
I thought
off,
you were going to do that. Yeah.
I think I mentioned it, but I never, I'm in this too, like, it's December. I'm in this whole, like, all right, beginning of the year, January, like, what do I need to adjust about everything, like, first quarter of the year? That's one of them where I'm like, all right, like Tuesday/Wednesday is gonna be podcast day, and whatever day we podcast, that's the day I'm gonna do everything for it.
Sounds
so
good.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be awesome.
Okay, I think that will help you fix
so
it.
Great. Yeah.
I think it will. I'm the same way though. I'll forget. I won't remember.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, I got an interesting study that came out.
Okay.
Do you have a couple things you want to talk about first, or should I go into it?
I mean, you mentioned it. You can go.
Okay. So Stacy Sims posted about this one. She wasn't, I'm pretty sure she wasn't in on this study. Maybe she was. Maybe she wasn't. But anyway, it was a pretty large study. Have you heard of the UK Biobank?
Mm-mm.
I haven't heard about it before either. It's basically like a massive amount of people in the UK, obviously. And it's kind of like a long-term health study where hundreds of thousands of people basically agreed to let researchers track their health over decades.
And they're not from Australia? Like, why wouldn't they be from Australia? Okay,
why Australia?
Ahead. Because it's called the UK bank. You know, you would think they would be from Australia. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I get it. You're being sarcastic. Okay, go ahead. I was like very confused. Do you know what the UK stands for? Not Australia.
Are you that dumb?
But anyway, I find that very interesting. So it's like hundreds of thousands of people that just kind of like agreed to be a part of just this ongoing study. And at any time they can study different things, right? Like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. So what they did, it was a study about like vigorous exercise versus not vigorous exercise. And so it wasn't super, super clear on like HIIT versus steady state. It wasn't like that. But essentially what they had these people do, and it was 73,000 people, 73,485 exactly, between the ages of 40 to 69. And they had them wear like a step tracker, essentially like a Fitbit or Apple Watch, 24/7 for 7 days. And it wasn't with any intention. They just gathered all of the data of how their heart rate responds throughout the week. So if these people are doing very vigorous exercise, it's going to track that. If they're just doing like light exercise, it tracks this. They can get an idea of what kind of exercise these people are regularly doing in their week. And that was it. They only did like a week of this tracking, but then they followed these people for the next 8 years. They watched their, all of their bio health markers, right? They were looking at all-cause mortality, obviously, cardiovascular, like heart health, cardiovascular events, diabetes, cancer mortality, and cancer incidence. And previously, we've kind of had this idea based on research or whatever, that there was like a 1-to-2 ratio of vigorous exercise to like more moderate exercise. So 1 minute roughly of vigorous exercise is equivalent to about 2 minutes of like moderate. And this study kind of like blew that out of the water. So they concluded based on following these people for 8 years and looking at all of their health markers compared to, and they did math in order to figure out algorithms and stuff. They eventually came up with that 1 minute of vigorous exercise is equivalent to 4 to 9 minutes of moderate. So instead of 1 to 2, it's 1 to 4 to 9 for like all-cause mortality and cardiometabolic outcomes. And then 1 minute of vigorous activity is equivalent to an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours. So 53 to 156 minutes of light activity. So it's just like walking, like light activity. So 1 minute of vigorous is equivalent to like 1 to 2 hours of light.
That's insane.
Right? It's insane.
Yeah.
And I found that really, really interesting. So the new ratios they have is 1 to 53, vigorous to light intensity, and for all-cause mortality, and a ratio of 1 to 73 for cardiovascular events, and 1 to 156 for cancer mortality. And that's vigorous to light intensity ratios.
That's crazy.
So I thought that was very interesting. And so the question comes up, obviously, well, what is what is like vigorous activity mean? It's when your heart rate is coming up really high, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily, so they didn't like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's HIIT. It probably is. So a lot of these people that had those vigorous bursts, they probably were doing like higher intensity interval training, sprint intervals and stuff like that. But it seems like the benefits of doing vigorous activity like are massively more beneficial than we previously might have thought compared to all activity.
I heard Dr. Rhonda Patrick talking about that on like a reel or clip of a podcast or something. I didn't know she was talking about that study. I'm assuming it was that study because that's what she was saying, like 1 to 4, that whole thing. And when she was talking about vigorous activity, I didn't take it just as cardio. I took it as like, I mean, I guess that means your heart rate's going up, but your heart rate can go up from weightlifting also. So it could be considered that on top, you know, it could, because the other day I was doing, or like, not the other day, but like for the past couple of weeks in my last program, I was doing kettlebell, like goblet curtsy lunges, right? I was doing like 10 on each side. I tracked my heart rate afterwards and it was 180.
Dang. Are you for real?
Yeah, I'm dead
That's
serious.
really high.
That exercise, I don't know what it is about that exercise, but it gets my heart rate up super high. I don't know. But yeah,
That's
so it could be weightlifting too, you know, like walking lunges, things like that can also get your heart rate up.
I think they literally just took the data from these people's watches, which means they don't know what they did. They just know where their heart rate was. And you can correlate that to the, you know, so that's, I mean, that's even more, it's like, yeah, it's not this one specific type of training. It's how you get your heart rate up.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, pretty important.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I did yesterday? I wanted to do some HIIT yesterday, but I was in one of those mental funks where like I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for it. I didn't just want to do sprints. I didn't just want to follow something that I already have on the app. I wanted something else. And so I went out and you know what I did? My husband and I did a quick little jog and we took like the puppies, you know, for a walk to the field and stuff to warm up. And then when we got back, I did burpees into a pull up. So it's like you do a burpee and then when you jump up, you grab the bar and pull up. So I did that for a minute and then a minute and a half rest. And then I did that 3 times. And then after that, for another 3 rounds of a minute on and a minute and a half rest, I did a kettlebell swing. But when the kettlebell's coming up, you kind of flip it and grab it to hold it as a goblet squat. And you immediately go into a goblet squat and then you drop it back down to a swing and you flip it back up. And I was doing them as quick as possible. So I was trying to get as many like reps as I could in a minute. I was kind of in my mind. Oh yeah, my heart rate skyrocketed. Yeah. It felt like I did when I was in Taekwondo again, which is what I was aiming for. I've been doing the sprints in the park and stuff, and I know it's super beneficial, but I haven't had the same feeling. I think I've only been doing it for 30 seconds. I need to do a minute or more of like high intensity to get that same feeling. And this did it. So I was like, I need to do something for a full minute. What can I do? So that was where I was in my mind. That really brought my heart rate up.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying the conditioning. I call them conditioning more than cardio workouts that I've been doing. And definitely. Like the kettlebell complexes definitely get my heart rate up. And that's what I'll do. I'll do like a whole bunch of them and then I'll rest like a minute. And then I'll do a whole bunch of them and the rest of a minute. I'll do like 4 different exercises, but usually 1 on each side. So it's like, you know, switching sides. So it's a lot all at once. I know it probably takes me about a minute to do the whole thing and then I rest. And yeah. I like it and I feel good afterwards. I don't feel like I wouldn't even consider it super high intensity because I don't think my heart rate gets up insane or anything like I don't feel like I'm dead when I'm done. I feel good when I'm done. So I don't know.
Do you wear a watch or something? You could see what your heart rate is.
I do, but it's wrong.
Oh.
Like it'll be like 140 and then I'll measure with like, so what I do is I just count the beats for like 10 seconds and then times it by 6 and it'll be like 20 to 30 off a lot of times. It'll be like 140 and like it's actually 170, you know? Yeah. So it's wrong. So I know what I want?
I need to put this on my Amazon wish list before I forget because I keep forgetting. Is I want a heart rate monitor. They're one of those ones that straps around your chest.
Yes, I do too.
That would be cool.
Yeah, one that's more accurate because I really I am interested in not when I'm like weightlifting or something, but it is kind of interesting to see how high your heart rate goes up. But that makes me think too, because you know how I said like my resting heart rate has gone down and I've improved and I don't really do a lot of cardio until more recently. I do think like weightlifting and stuff does get your heart rate up and does help a little bit with all of that.
Definitely.
It's not the same. It doesn't replace it, but it does have benefits.
Right. Yeah, your heart rate definitely goes up, but you shouldn't weight train with the intention of trying to get your heart rate higher, because if you do that, you'll end up sacrificing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it's like too, if you're using weights for cardiovascular, like I was using that kettlebell swing to a goblet squat, and my intention was to get my heart rate as high as I could. Am I getting some strength and muscle benefits from that as well? Yeah. But if I try to do a heavier weight to get more muscle benefits, then I'm going to sacrifice on, the ability to get my heart rate up.
The other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. There was a Bill Campbell study actually too that was about, I can just say it very briefly. It was also about HIIT, so I thought it like went well with it, but it didn't. They say it wasn't statistically significant, but I thought, for me, I thought it was interesting. But they took, so it was much smaller, 27 overweight postmenopausal women. So that's interesting. The average age was 63. Their average body weight, or their average, I should say, like body fat percentage, was 36%. So overweightish, postmenopausal. Yeah. 63 years old.
I saw that, but I haven't read it.
So they assigned them to either doing steady state only, sprint interval training only, and the sprints were like 8 to 10 second sprints. They weren't like super long sprints. So sprint interval training, or a combination of sprint interval and resistance training. And the other cool thing they did is they made the total calorie burn between the steady state cardio and the sprint interval training, they made them the same. So however they had to adjust the timing, they made the steady state cardio calorie burn equal around the amount of the sprint interval training. And then they made the time frame of those roughly match sprint interval plus resistance training. So they tried to kind of make them as even as they could. And in terms of it was looking at fat loss. So in terms of total abdominal fat, the women who did the steady state didn't have any change in just abdominal fat, but in visceral fat, which is the fat that's kind of around the organs that you can't really see, they actually gained about a half a pound of visceral fat, even though they had no change in abdominal fat. And then the sprint interval training group lost an average of a pound of abdominal fat, and about half of that was visceral.
Okay.
And then the sprint interval plus resistance training lost an average of 1.5 pounds, with half a pound being visceral.
Okay.
So I just thought so they say those numbers aren't statistically significant, but there's other studies that consistently show that like high intensity training and sprint interval training tends to target that visceral fat more. So this kind of just shows it too. And I find that really cool and very interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Agree.
Another check mark in the HIIT category.
Speaking of high intensity.
Ooh, good transition.
I got to do the transitions. I have decided, and I told you this, but this week I'm doing a deload week. Actually, I didn't plan on that. Monday I did my regular workout, but since I've been sick, I ended up turning it into a deload week, which I desperately probably need because I never do that. And so it's like a perfect time because I just finished my last program. So if I'm going to get sick, I guess this is a good time for it. So this week I've just, deload. Next week I'll start. But I'm going to do the program that you and I did like 2-ish years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When we were competing.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that is one of the best programs I have ever designed because the results were amazing. And I just went back and looked at it. And of course, this was like 2 years ago. So there are things now me is like change. So I'm calling it like, the 2.0 version, right? So there are little things that I changed, but the bulk of it is the same. But the, do you remember, like, so I think we did a test week first to see where our lifts actually were.
Yeah.
And I think my deadlift was around like 225 pounds. And by the end, so this was like 12 weeks of training, it was 270, I think I got it to. That's like 45 pounds added in 12 weeks, which is insane. Yeah. When I, like, if my dead was like 150, if my deadlift was like 150, that would make sense, right? But since I was already pretty high, like that's like 1.8 times my body weight, right? So it's not extremely high, but it's not like I was a beginner, right? So the higher you get, the harder it is going to be to add weight to it. And I think my squat was like 170-ish, 175, and I got it to like 200. The bench and overhead press didn't change much, but
yeah. When are you going to do it? You said in like 2
weeks? Next week. Since this week's going to be deload week.
Next week, Christmas week? You're going to start that on Christmas week?
Oh, yeah. I don't care. I do that stuff all the time. But the way it was, because then by the time it ends, it'll be like cut season. If I wait too long, it won't be anymore.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
What if I did it with you?
You want to do it with me?
What if we did? I don't know yet. I don't want to start. I don't think I want to start next week because then I'm going to be gone for a week after that.
Well, that will be the, remember how it's like, okay, hard week.
Yeah.
Like it's like a strength week and then a volume week, a strength week and a volume week.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be doing a volume week. I'll tell you that much.
You could skip the volume week that week.
Yeah. Let me think about it, Laura.
Okay. Think about it. But I was looking at it and just the way I designed it, it's like, I love the way I like it. Like the stress was accounted for. There was never like too much stress. Like I never felt burnt out. The way it was strategically designed and the way I did the rep ranges and the exercises and the alternating weeks. And even when I put percentages in there. So I like percentages because they tell you, like, gives you a roundabout of where you should be. So I think that's helpful for people, but I don't like percentages because then you can't self-regulate, right? So if you're saying do this percentage, this weight at this percentage for this many reps, if you're having a day where you feel weak, you might not, that might feel too heavy. And on a day you're feeling strong, it might be limiting you, right? So.
But you can adjust based on like how you feel. You put the notes in there to like adjust.
I did.
But even if you so if you're feeling good and you push those numbers, it will readjust your percentages down. The app will automatically readjust your percentages. But if you're feeling like weaker and you do less weight, it won't affect your future percentages because they're going off your 1 rep max, right?
But it'll only do that if you like hit a new 1 rep max. Right. But the way I did it was like, but even that, like if you give people percentages and they might be like, I feel like I can go heavier or whatever, like most people are going to stay around whatever you said. Anyway, so I did it where it was like, start at this percentage, do this many reps at this percentage. If your sets feel good, keep adding weight each set. Yeah. And that's a great way to do it because, and I didn't do that for every week, just some of the weeks, because I like ramping up the weight like that anyway, because then that last set, you have more in the tank and you can give it I'm probably going to be lifting more in that last set than I would have if I did the same weight the entire time. Yeah. So I like ramping up the weight, but then I also like that because you can self-regulate. And if you're feeling good, you can continue to add weight.
Yeah.
But then there were other weeks where I was just like, do 6 sets of this many reps. It was like 6 sets of 2 reps at this percentage, which was a lot of sets. So I'm like, nope, you're staying at this weight. Don't do more than that. But then like the next week, the next strength week, it was like the same weight, but you're doing 3 reps, but only for 4 sets because obviously more intense. So like accounting for the intensity and all of that. I don't know. I am changing a couple things though. Like, I'm doing more, I'm going to add some dynamic effort things in there. So that's like speed things, right? So like the overhead press, the exercises, we do them twice a week. So the way I had it in there originally, like it would be a squat, you do a pause squat one of the days. So one of the days you'd be lifting heavy. The other day you do a pause squat. Yeah. Or a bench where you pause it on your chest for 3 seconds, that kind of thing. So you're lowering the weight so it's not as taxing, right? The way I'm going to still have those in there, but like it's a long program. So half the time those might be in there, half the time it'll be dynamic effort. So that's something where you're doing it fast for lower reps, lots of sets, lower rest period in between. And you can use accommodating resistance. So that means you could use like a band or a chain and put that around the bar so that it follows the strength curve a little bit. So like at the like if you're doing an overhead press, it's going to get harder at the top than it's at the bottom. The deadlift is going to be harder at the top than it is at the bottom with the band on it because it's going to be,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it for deadlifts too? Just because of what happened with your back?
I am, but I am lowering my 1 rep max goal. Like my 1 rep max is like 285. I'm going to pretend it's 250.
Got it. Okay.
That way I'm not lifting like a maniac and hurting my back. Yeah. And then and in the program that's the one exercise we only did once a week, because I didn't want to so the other day it was Romanian deadlift. I might deadlift the other day, but do like the dynamic effort because I feel like that wouldn't be too bad. I remember only wanting to deadlift once a week, because even if you do like a pause deadlift or a deficit deadlift and we're doing all the other stuff, it just still feel like it's very taxing and a lot of axial fatigue, right? And I didn't want to hurt my back. And Romanian deadlift still has that axial fatigue, but not to the same degree, right? Like that was one of the first exercises I could do after I hurt my back that is still, utilizing my back where it didn't hurt. Like even before squats, I could Romanian deadlift when I hurt my back. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep that in there. I do speed deadlifts instead, but we'll see. I mean, it worked the first time. Yeah.
So you're going to work on that. The rest of this week, you're going to work on that to start next week.
Yeah. So I already programmed it, but I might change a couple things still, and I'll do it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I saw a reel the other day on Instagram, and I've been seeing these more and more, and it was someone reacting to this reel, because this would definitely not be in my feed. But have you seen like the skinny talk stuff?
I've been seeing something like skinny's back, and like I don't know, what is that the wicked characters, and like using
God, they're like yeah. And so I guess there's skinny talk, and it's like people just trying to get as skinny as possible. And this girl was talking about how you shouldn't, if you want to be skinny and have legs like a model, you shouldn't be lifting, you shouldn't be working out, you shouldn't be squatting, you shouldn't be training your legs at all, because it's going to make them bulkier. And if you really want the skinny legs, you can't be adding muscle to your legs. And I just hate that message so much. It makes me so angry. I don't want this. I don't want this to be a trend. I don't like it at all.
But if that's literally all you care about is the way that your body...
It's true. What she was saying was true.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that's what your goal is, I just don't understand why that would be... I would like my legs to be the smallest circumference around as possible. Why? I don't understand why.
Why?
I want to be less healthy and less strong, and I want my longevity markers to be knocked down in order to achieve this, because that's how important it is to me. Why?
And I lost my train of thought. I don't know. It disappeared.
You're angry. Skinny legs. I don't want this to be a trend.
I don't. It reminds me, this isn't where I was going, but it reminds me of the 90s. Oh, I know what it was. I think, I mean, I already knew this was probably coming because of GLP-1s. Like I had a feeling that this was going to come back because of that, because there's a way to get there easier. Whereas remember, it was like fit at any size. And I'm like, it's going to go back in the other direction now that people have a solution. And I don't like it, but it reminds me of the 90s because it was like that. Just get as skinny as possible. Skinny, skinny, skinny. And it's so bad for people's mental health because for one, it's just, it's never going to be enough. Like you're always going to be trying to get skinnier. And two, muscle is so important.
Yeah.
Important for longevity. For longevity. Every time I say it now, I hear it. I'm like, oh, Jamie's going to say something. Or Jamie notices. For longevity, right? Muscle is so important, and strength, and and all of that stuff, and working out, and just bone density, and when you get old, this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Please don't.
It is. I also I think about, and it's not uniquely America. Maybe it's uniquely America and Europe, and Asia. I can see Asia, maybe some Korea and Japan, But like
it's rich people problems.
The majority of the world does not they actually value more curves, and it shows that you have, well, that's the other thing we say rich people problems. It's like, well, a lot of countries too, the reason they value more curves is because it shows that you have more money and more access to food.
That's
and
what I mean, rich people problems. Yeah,
but so how is it that then you get rich and you want to look like you don't have access to like, you know?
I know.
I want to look like I have no ability to access this deliciousness.
You know, the other thing too, I know, right? You know, the other thing too is I just find it so sad. Like, that's such a sad life if you're like, I just want to get as skinny as possible. Because food, Jaime. Food,
I know.
I cannot tell you, every year at this time of year, I am always so surprised by how much food I can actually consume. I have, you know how I always talk about like making your targets bigger, you know, like if you are trying to, if you're playing darts and your goal is to just hit the dartboard compared to hitting the bullseye, you're going to have a much higher probability of just hitting the dartboard, right? And that's what I feel like I've done with my calories. I'm not special. I'm not amazing. I don't have better willpower than anybody else. My targets are just ginormous that it makes it hard for me to mess up. Like
you made the dartboard bigger and then you aimed to just land it.
Just hit it. And I've been eating, like, besides this week because I got sick, like 23 to 2,400 calories is my average. Like, that's the average, not just I'm hitting that some days. That's what, some days I'm eating more than that. So that's my average. And I haven't gained a pound. Like, and I've been doing it for months. And I'm so surprised every single time because I feel like I'm just stuffing my face. And I'm like, I really need to calm down. And then I look at the scale and it hasn't moved. I'm the same weight. And you're like,
I don't need to calm down, actually. To ramp up.
I needed it. And I know the part of the reason is because I train so hard and I train so frequently and I try to keep my activity up and all of that. But the other reason is because I'm not trying to be skinny, right? Yeah, like I'm not the tiny small person. I have an acceptable leanness. Like I'm healthy, right? I'm like healthy and a healthy weight and all of that, but I'm not like a twig. And I can, and I can't tell you how freeing it is, like to just be able to eat and not worry about it.
I 100% agree.
And you know how you were talking about like last episode about holiday stuff and like, and I was like, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me. And I realized the reason it doesn't is because my targets are so big, I don't care. Like I can just eat whatever. No, I can't just eat whatever I want, but I don't have to be so crazy about everything. And it's not a big deal because it just becomes so much easier. And I'm not bragging because I'm not better than anybody else. It's more like, I want this for you too. Like, I want you to have the same thing I have. That's why I became a trainer, is because, sorry, I got too excited. It's because
choked on my tongue.
Is because this like is so freeing once it becomes reality for you, you know?
Yeah. Yep. And that's what I noticed. Like, I've been really enjoying my workouts being less pressure and these kettlebell complexes and stuff like that. I've been enjoying it. But I've also been, this happens throughout the year for me, but definitely like this time of year it starts to happen. It's like my total activity level is kind of going down. Like I've been looking at my steps and I was getting 15,000 steps a day easy because I was like jogging with the dogs in the morning and I'm up and around and doing stuff. And then we're going on a very long evening walk. But now it's been like, oh, it's really, really cold. Let's cut the walk shorter. Oh, I'm not going to jog this morning. It's really cold. I'll just do a quick, little walk later. And like, so I'm still around 10,000 steps, but it's like just barely hitting 10 by the end of the day. I'm, my workouts are not what they used to be. They're still good and I'm maintaining muscle and all that stuff. But like the combination of, and then my activity, when I am doing activity, it's less vigorous, right? So even if I'm still getting 10,000 steps, I'm maybe not burning as many calories because I'm not as vigorously exercising. It's like my total calorie burn has kind of come down probably a few hundred calories. And then just the little bit of extra treats and stuff is only up a few hundred calories. But those combined, that's when you start to notice and you wonder why, you know, oh, what's changing? My weight's starting to kind of creep up little by little. And that's like you just said, like I hardly ate, but my weight's actually not adjusting. You don't realize how that kind of like active lifestyle plus, you know, your food, it all equals out. But then when those things start to shift even just a little bit over extended periods of time, you start to notice that creep.
For me, activity is a huge part of it because, like you were just mentioning, I've been sick, but my steps have been very low. I've been doing like not training very hard, obviously, because I'm sick. And when every time I'm sick, you know, a lot of people lose weight when they're sick. I don't, because my activity is so low. I'm burning so much less calories, even though I don't eat as much. So even though I'm not eating as much right now, it's just my weight. But I'm still maintaining. Nothing bad is happening.
Yeah,
but,
that's what part of what was going on in my head when you were talking about doing that program. It's like my first thought was like, nope, I have zero interest in. I'm really enjoying where I'm at. And I was like, well, actually, in the new year, I might actually be like, I need a reason to uptick my training intensity, and that could be the reason.
And I think, remember I said I was eating so many calories. I was doing a lot of volume and I was training really hard. And I was, remember I was talking about how extremely hungry I was?
Oh, yeah.
I think I was really, there was a reason I was hungry. Like I actually was using all of that fuel.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when we did that program. Yeah, I was like a trash can. Just like.
I remember my butt getting very big. I do remember that.
Yeah, I really, one of the things though that I also, so when I've talked about this a lot before, but when I was very regularly doing Taekwondo in Korea and now I'm not, and I do want to join again actually, but that's not something I'm going to do right now just because things are very expensive here. The is expensive there. So we're waiting a little while. But I'm finding myself needing to, wanting to replace that, you know, vigorous intensity 3 times a week that I was doing. And sure, I have the skills and the ability to do it, but it's harder to do it when it's like just showing up somewhere, knowing somebody else is going to beat you to a pulp. And like, it's awesome. Yeah. I can really, I see the value in that. So I want to definitely, I need to find a rhythm because once I have a blueprint and a rhythm, I'll kind of like stick to it very regularly. And so lately it had been the sprints, but I'm almost kind of like bored with them. And I still want to do it maybe like once a week, but then I want another like regular thing that I can do. I want to do Taekwondo again, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to get a bag. I have a bag that we can hang from the squat rack, but because it's hanging from the squat rack, there's always a risk that I'll hit the bars of the squat rack. And so I'm a little less, I want like a I want a freestanding bag because then I could at least practice my kicks and stuff like that. Like I could do that on my own. So that's something I want. I want to get a stand for a bag or something.
I always wanted that. Yeah.
Oh man, I miss it. And I want to do the classes again, but even if I had just like a freestanding bag, like I know enough that I could practice and get my heart rate up that way. So I'm trying to figure all that out, but I would want to work that into this program. So it'd be funny to go from just like 30-minute kettlebell complexes to like 4 times a week, heavy training plus HIIT. In January, and I'm like, let's fucking go.
That's the other thing. I've been training 6 days a week since fall time.
No,
and I don't mean
4, right? Isn't it 4 days?
This is 4. It had a optional accessory day, but I took that out this time and I replaced it with conditioning. So I never did it last time anyway. And when I say I'm training 6 days a week, I don't mean I'm lifting 6 days a week. I'm doing like the last program I did. I was doing 3 days. So I was doing 3 full body and 3 conditioning. So it's just 6 days. And it's not that, it's not that hard. It's really not that.
It's not.
That bad.
It depends. Something I've really realized too, is it really depends on what your base level is. And your base level can adjust. So another example is like my base level has ticked down without me realizing that it's been happening, and it happens, right? It doesn't happen to you, but it happens to me. My baseline ticks down, and it's time of year, whatever. And yesterday I found myself saying, because we got back from our walk, and it was an off day for training, but I wanted to do HIIT really bad because I have not been doing my sprints. I have not, like I said, it's been cold. My dog has a limp, so I've been like, there's all these reasons why we haven't been as active. And so my husband and I went to the field and ran the dogs, and we walked. When we got back, I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym and do some HIIT. And he was like, what? I thought we just did our activity. And in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, we did just come for a walk. And I was like, Jaime, a walk is not like that. It is bare minimum. I caught myself like almost being like, oh, maybe he's right. No, fuck that. He's not right. A walk is not. Like, so it's just funny because it really is your baseline. So if you're not used to doing anything, and it takes a lot of mental and physical effort to get your steps from 5,000 to 10,000, like then that it is a lot to do, 6 days a week, 3 training, 3 conditioning, right? So it's like, it's very interesting because it really depends on your baseline, but I'm with you. 6 days a week actually isn't that bad if your baseline has, been around that level.
And if you're not going hard 6 days a week, like the 3 strength training are very hard, but the conditioning, it's not like I'm doing anything insane. Like I feel good after I'm done. I feel like energized. I don't feel like I just beat myself up. So I don't go into going into the gym and dreading it, like, oh, I don't want to do this today. So I'm not doing like HIIT 3 days a week.
Right. Yeah. Well, it is interesting because even when I was doing Taekwondo, and that was legit like 1 minute rounds on the mat with that guy. I mean, my heart rate was going up to like 190, sometimes. And but I felt good after. I didn't feel sore. My body didn't feel like I feel my body definitely recovers better after that kind of intensity than it does after like high intensity deadlifts, right? When I'm like pushing PRs, like I feel that for multiple days, but with HIIT, I don't. I feel, and in fact, I feel better because I can feel the impacts of like that cardiovascular, the benefits of that. I can feel that throughout the weeks and throughout the days, and that feels really good.
Yeah, I've set it up because I don't have like a lot of conditioning equipment. I have my treadmill and that's it. So I've just been going from exercise. Like the one, I like the way I set it up because each round I would lower the reps so it got a little bit easier. Like I would do like so many, like I was like pretending to jump rope because I'm not actually jump roping. So I'm pretending to jump rope. So I'd do like so many reps of that. And then I would do another exercise. I would do like, I think I was doing like 40 step ups or something. So I'd do like 40 step ups. And then I would do 4 minutes of, what do you call it? Like it's like a side shuffle going back and forth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I do like 4 minutes of that. And then I would do like carries and like kettlebell swings or something else. And I would do so many reps of all of these things. Right. But then the next round, it would be like only 3 minutes of the side shuffles, only 30 or only 30 step ups, only, whatever. And I would go then 20 and then 10 for the last one. So each one got easier and easier. The only thing that stayed the same was the carries. And that was a nice way to do it because I felt like it got easier and easier each round. But that I might have taken 1 minute between each round, but that basically kept my heart rate. That was one where it was more like a zone 2 workout. Like my heart rate stayed in that zone 2 area. But then other ones,
can it still be considered conditioning if your heart rate's like zone 2?
I would think so, right? I mean, it's not exactly that because you're going from different exercise to different exercise. Some are more strenuous than others, right? And then another one I'm doing like then the other ones I'd be doing like the kettlebell complex. And I don't remember what else I did, but I was doing 3 different workouts. I want to incorporate the sled, but it's been cold.
Yeah. It's been cold and snowy. Well, that's when a sled is useful, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of side to side shuffles, I like basketball. Okay, back up. I'm going to tell you where my brain got. The side to side shuffles makes me think of Sean T when I did Insanity. Okay. And he would have all these plyometric drills, and there was a side to side shuffle, and then he would also do it was like a football drill. I don't remember what he calls it, but you get into like a wide, almost sumo squat position, and you move your feet really, really fast. What's that called? Like a shuffle, I guess. It's like a you just go, you're just like fast feet, like, and you got your hands up and you're just go, and then he would say drop, and you drop to the ground.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sometimes he would do that. You drop and then you get up and keep going. But another drill he did was a basketball drill. So it's basically a jump squat, but you would squat down, scoop up the imaginary basketball, and then you jump up and throw it in the basket. It's basically a jump squat, right? But you're like basketball, so you're scooping and throwing, and then so you saying side to side shuffle made me think of Sean T, made me think of basketball drills, which shoot your heart rate up, which made me think of the game last night for the NBA Cup because I really like basketball. I wanted you to know.
NBA Cup?
The NBA Cup was last night, and it was Spurs against the Knicks. It was an in-season tournament, is what Donovan told me. It was the NBA Cup, yeah.
Do they actually call it cup? I've never heard of it called that
It literally said on the court, NBA Cup.
Okay.
Like it's an in-season tournament, I guess.
Okay.
And I just thought you'd be more excited than you are.
That you watch basketball?
Yeah, like even my friend Rachel was like, "Are you actually watching?" I was like, "No, I'm very interested." Like, and I can name the players that I love and why I love them, and I'm just like super into the Spurs. I wouldn't say I'm into basketball. I don't want to watch if it's not the Spurs playing. I'm just very into the Spurs.
Who are they playing?
They were playing the Knicks last night,
The
but they
Knicks?
made it to there because they played the Oklahoma something, OKC, Oklahoma City. Anyway, Oklahoma was really good, and I was very impressed with their passing, like the way they were passing. And I felt like, man, Laura would appreciate my comments because I'm like, oh man, that was such a smooth pass. And then like, I don't know. And then they won, and it was such a good game. And I was like, oh my gosh, they won. Now they're going to play the cup. They're going to play against the Knicks. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I was so into it.
I haven't watched basketball in so long. It's just not as interesting as it used to be. It's not the same game as it used to be. There's a lot of like just hit like 3-point shots. They do a lot of just shooting, and there's less of the. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not the same game as it used to be. But when I was younger, I loved basketball. I loved Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers were my team, and he was my favorite player ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it used to be, but football's boring as all get out, so.
That is insane. Football is the only sport that I can watch any game. It doesn't matter who's playing. So, like, if I watched even back in the day watching basketball, I can't watch just random teams that I don't care about. Baseball, I definitely can't do that.
Oh, no.
Football, I can watch. It doesn't matter.
I don't understand
any team.
that. I don't understand.
What is so boring about it?
The ball's not always move. It'll move and then it stops, and it moves and it stops. It's kind of like baseball. Like the ball moves and it stops, and you gotta wait. They gotta like basketball. Oh my god, it's always moving. But soccer too. Boom, 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 boom.
But then they're like, oh, foul. Oh, I gotta shoot my foul shots.
But then they go right into it. There's no like waiting. It's like, oh, foul here. Throw the ball. The
time
ball
out
is just
because we gotta stop the clock. Like
that happens in football.
Yeah, but not as often. In basketball, they call more timeouts. Not to stop the clock, but they do it to like stop the other team's momentum and other things. And we need to.
I don't know. It's just enough time to go grab a snack and come back, and it's back in. The ball's moving again, and it's zipping around, and people are doing crazy stuff, and they're running, and they're falling, and they're jumping and spinning, and slam dunk. Woo! Yeah, it's like constant action.
I guess football's more like HIIT, where it's like it's short, but it's exciting while it's happening. It's intense. Lots of things are happening. It's not boring when it's happening, but then you get a little break, and then it happens again.
We'll see. I'm not ruling it out forever because like my mom just in the past couple years has gotten into football, and now she's like, oh, the game's on, and we're from Baltimore, so Ravens, and kind of like, okay, like, I don't know, maybe I just need, because the thing that got me into basketball, I like when a ball's moving because I always liked soccer and I like watching soccer, but I'm not invested in a team enough to consistently watch it. But then what got me into basketball is like, well, the Spurs, there's such a thing here. And then with Wemby, and he's like this future star, and it's like there's all this stuff. We just voted on a proposition. The Spurs want a new stadium right in downtown because they really want to invest in San Antonio. So it's kind of like, it's not just Spurs, it's San Antonio, and it's like the pride of being here. And so, and then Donovan watches sports, right? So I'll watch with him. And now I'm like getting to know the players. I'm like, oh, he's cute. Like, oh, who's that guy? And then so now you get to know him, like you said, when you get to know their personalities and these things. And so this morning, I don't have a car. My car's in the shop. So I had to take Donovan to work. But the whole literally 20-minute ride into work, I was asking him, I was like, because we have a friend that was texting us like, oh man, we lost, but it was those offensive rebounds that got us. So I was like, what's an offensive rebound? Like, I was asking him, and I was like, and this guy, you said we got this guy, De'Aaron Fox. He's really good. I really like him. And I was like, but you said he's new. We traded for him. Like, what does that even really mean? Like, does he want to leave? Like, doesn't he like his team? So we were just talking about trades and offensive fouls and like all these things. And he was just talking, like, it's hard to get that guy talking. Once I started asking about sports, and whole 20 minutes, he was like explaining sports to me. I was like, I feel like Laura would really appreciate this.
Yeah, I would love to answer your questions.
But it's about basketball. I don't have football questions yet.
I know what an offensive rebound is.
Well, my husband was right there.
Okay.
So, but if I have one, I will definitely ask you. Okay. All right. Now I know.
Particular players, I probably won't know because I don't pay attention anymore.
Maybe you should really get really into the Spurs and like them with me.
I like the Spurs. I'd probably be like a Knicks fan or something.
No.
It's New York.
Oh, that's okay. That's fair.
But if you watched football, you can't be a Dallas fan. You can't.
Ravens. Just
you're going to be a Ravens fan? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You can do that. They're good every year. Like every year. I don't remember the last time they were bad. Like
you know what, I couldn't.
This year they're not that as good as they normally are, but even that, they're not the worst team. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm noticing the time, so we really don't have time to get another topic, so I might as well just round this one out before we go.
Okay.
I was going to say the other thing that I've started to realize too, so my husband's a Longhorn, UT, and he loves going to UT games, basketball, football. So we went to a UT basketball game. I think it was like last month or the month before, maybe in October. And now that I've been kind of watching the Spurs a little bit more consistently, I was watching these guys and it just was kind of boring. And I said to him later, I was like, I don't like, why weren't they that good? He was like, well, they're college kids. Like you got to remember, like NBA, like Spurs are professional. That's like the best kid from this team is going to go on to play there.
Yeah.
And I was like, so then, and obviously that makes sense, but I'm stopping to think like, well, then why would you want to watch a bunch of kids play a sport? Like, why are we so into college? You know, he's very into college football and college. And you say you like professional football and Donovan likes college football. But now that I'm thinking about it more, I'm like, why would you like college sports? They're good, but they're still just, and he's like, well, think about how wholesome it is. Like a lot of times once you get professional, there's so many, like there's politics and there's drama and there's money that's involved. And he was like, when it's college, it's like, it's literally just, it's wholesome. It's college kids and they're really good. They're the best from their high schools. And you have these connections because of where you live or where you went to school. And there's usually not all that extra stuff. And I don't know, but I found it, I was like, but it's kind of boring to watch it.
I like college basketball better than professional basketball. Yeah.
Why?
I don't watch it during the year, but I'll watch during like March Madness and stuff. Because of everything he just said, there's a different feel to it. The players are different. They're not getting paid. Well, now you can get paid, I guess, but normally you're not getting paid to play. You're playing it. There's a different heart. There's a different, I don't know, feeling behind it that the kids have. And also it's like their story of like, it's fun to watch kids succeed, I guess. Like,
I mean, I can get behind that, but like, to me, the analogy I used is like, I wouldn't go see like a college production. And I don't even know they have these really, because like high school, you'd go see a high school musical, but I wouldn't go see a college production of, Beauty and the Beast. I'd like to see it on Broadway. Like that's going to be way more entertaining to watch Hamilton on Broadway than Hamilton at like the college up the road.
But would you watch, like, if your kids were in a high school play, would you go watch
my kids, yeah. But I'm not, I'd watch my kids doing anything, right? But I wouldn't choose to spend hours watching something that's not that entertaining. That's how I feel.
I would actually go watch a high school football game at my old high school and watch it and enjoy it and watch the kids play because they're kids and it's kind of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would still enjoy that, even if my kids weren't playing. And I know that's like a connection to the school, but it's like you were there once,
Yeah, I think it's the same reason why, like, I need to read very engaging books, and I can't read a book written by a high schooler because you're just not that good of an author yet, and it won't hold my attention. I support you, but you're really good, and you have a lot of potential. But let me know when you make the New York Times bestseller list, and then I will read your book. Like, I guess that's...
Jaime needs you to be elite, otherwise you're not interesting.
Because I can't pay attention to it's not interesting enough. It's not good enough. Like I was watching these guys and I was like, wow, yeah. But like, give me some action.
But like they're good. But it's not like it's a comparison. It's all relative. Like, are they good for their age? Are they good for college? Like, obviously it's different than professional, but it's a different standard. They're still good. They're just not as good as the professionals.
And I can do all of that logically, but when it comes to the part of my brain that stays engaged, I need a specific level in order to keep attention. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Even if I can appreciate all of that stuff, I don't wish to engage.
It's very so like, would you watch women's sports?
Not if it's not as
because they're engaging. Not as
good. Yeah, that's what I've realized. You know what I'm thinking about though is my cousin's son. he's in high school. He was in a play up in Connecticut when we went to see Hamilton on Broadway. We went and saw his high school play, and it was like a spinoff of Harry Potter, and he was like the lead. And so I was excited to go because I was excited to watch him, but it was really good. Like, I was like, wow, you guys are really good. And there was this one character who she did this whole skit. She was the coach for these kids at this wizarding school. And she came in as this rough coach. And she was like, I just came from this other school. And she basically described Wicked. She was like, and there was this girl and she was green. And the way she did it was really funny. And she went on this whole monologue of the school she was at before. And Wicked had just come out. So it was very funny. And the whole audience was laughing. And I said to my cousin later, and he was like, yeah, you know, that was all like ad-libbed. Like, she did that all improv. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, they let her like plan a section that will be improv, and nobody knows what it's going to be. And every show, they were doing multiple shows throughout the weekend. He was like, every show's she has a different plan and nobody knows what it's going to be. And so one of them, she pulled in him, and he was like so nervous because he didn't have his lines ready. And she was like pulling him into her improv. But I was like, that's some talent, like to be able to do that and not even worry. Like, I have this idea in my mind. I'm just going to go with it on stage.
Yeah. This is, sorry, not to like change on the same subject, but going back to what we were just talking about, because it made me think of like, are you not interested in seeing someone's story? Like, watching Kobe Bryant before he becomes megastar Kobe Bryant, you know, like,
like, again, there's the logical part of me says, yeah, I really like that. But then that logical part of me goes to a game where Kobe Bryant is playing in his first year, and it's just not a very interesting game. And so my mind checks out and says, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to pay to have that experience, because I was like looking around and I missed a bunch of things and I was bored. So why would I spend money on it? But I can logically still be behind the idea of it. But I just was not, it didn't hold my attention.
That was a bad example. Kobe Bryant didn't play in college. He went from high school to pro because he was that good.
Well, that's what I wondered about this. There's a guy on the Spurs, Dylan Harper, and he's really good. And Donovan told me he's only 19. So now I want to know, I was like, did he just come out of high school?
Yes, that does happen sometimes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right. Well, good pod.
Sorry, that was probably not interesting at the end.
That's all right. Jordan and Mike's last podcast, they talked for half of it about baby products. It's a How to Be a Personal Trainer podcast, and they were talking about all the baby products they recommend.
I check out their podcast every once in a while, and very rarely are they even talking about fitness anymore.
It's called a How to Become a Personal Trainer podcast, and I think like 1 out of 5 episodes has advice on how to be like,
they must have got bored of talking about it.
I think it's just like us, we're just like, well, sports, man, it's like life, and it's just their conversation podcast. Well, we talk about fitness every single time, and I would say sports is definitely in that. Obviously
it's in that realm.
Yeah.
I could talk about sports all day.
I know.
We could do a sports podcast, and it would be like Laura explaining. Oh, did you ever? So
you want to do that's a good solo idea.
There's this
Laura explains football.
there's people that do that online. They don't know what they're doing, and then they like are learning about it, and they're explaining it to other people in a way that they understand it, and it's really funny. But there's this podcast. I don't know what it's called because I only see like the clips of it. They're sports clips, and they're hilarious, and it's like a husband and wife, I think. Or a couple, I think they're married, maybe not, but they do like sports gossip, and he always does it in this like lisp, and he's I don't know, but he talks in a funny way when he does it, but he'll explain sports to her by relating it to pop culture. So he'll relate it to like the Kardashians or something random, right? And he'll explain it in that way, and it always makes sense, and it actually teaches me about pop culture because I know less about that than sports as I listen to it, and it's like so interesting. And so like I love the way they do it, and we could be like a podcast like that, like me explaining sports to you.
You'd have to come up with a really clever, funny way to do it like that.
Yeah, it'd have to be something that you like, something that's engaging to you, that you would understand.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thanks for listening. If you like this, please leave a comment, leave a review. A 5-star review would be so amazing, and we will see you next week.
Bye.